I don't mind this. It was the radio. It was weird, really weird.
Here she goes. She's already on. She started
Oh,
with the show. Hi, everybody. It is Adara, and we are live on my show with my girlfriend, Meiyan Mullin. And she is here as a transformational coach for the spiritually awakened that want to know what life could be like not using alcohol in it. And this is something that I've toyed with, a few times in my life. I've quit cold turkey. I always come back to the bottle because it is it is a pattern. It is a habit and a pattern and a societal community thing that I do with my girls. I do other things with them as well, but that is something that's like socially acceptable that we all go out and have a drink, and enjoy each other's company. So, Meiyan, hello and welcome to the show.
thank you. Hi, how are you? It's great to
I'm,
be here.
I'm so happy you're here. So, can you talk to us a bit about this idea of what was it?
Gray area
Area,
drinking. I know.
gray
Who's even
area.
heard of that, right? Like most people have not even heard of it. It's a thing. And it's actually where most of society, men and women, actually kind of live. Just about everybody drinks, right? Like 9 out of 10 people drink. It's the norm in our world, like in our culture here in North America. And for most of those drinkers, they're all hovering in the gray area.
So, would gray be like we're not alcoholics, but
Right? Not alcoholics at all.
but
You got
every night,
families, you got jobs, you're doing your thing, but you're drinking a little bit too much and a little bit too often.
yeah, the little bit too often is a thing.
Mm.
So, because it's not unusual for someone to come home from work and have a glass of wine or two, would that be gray area or?
If you're having two every single day, you are on the edge. You're on the
Okay.
edge.
All
Yeah.
right.
So apparently they say 10 to 14 drinks for a woman because it's very different between men and women, right? Like we totally
Mm-hmm.
process it differently.
Mm-hmm.
So I think depending on your size too, right? Your weight. If you're pushing 10 to 14 drinks a week,
Mm-hmm.
you need to have a look and just be honest with yourself. But the real, it's funny. Everyone has that voice inside their head, inside their soul, right? That's always speaking to them. So they know.
Yeah.
They know. They're having the conversation with themselves. They know.
Right. Okay. And that has definitely been a conversation that I've had with myself. Absolutely. And I want to talk to you a little bit about how you got into this particular niche, because it's just sort of been like a recent thing where you've kind of
Mhm.
come out and been like, hey, I work with women primarily that are in the gray area of drinking and really want
Yeah.
to like, touch back into their soul and not feel like they're this dulling
Right.
themselves just to sort of like cope, with stressors of the day,
Yeah.
basically.
They're tired of using alcohol to be the crutch and be the go-to because there's more. There's a better way, and there really is. And so I resisted this. It was just, a kind of a recent kind of switch that I made into this very specific niche was because I lived it. I lived it. Alcohol was my go-to for over 25 years. I'm 48 now, and yeah, like it's all fun and games in your 20s and in your teens, right? And then your 30s, it really starts to become like the thing, right? Like you said, every day after work to just like melt the stress away or whatever, and then socializing, and it's just always this ever-present thing. And so the 30s, it really starts to just become like this serious relationship, right? Like you're married to it now. And but then you hit your 40s, and that's where I was. And when I was 42, and I just woke up one day, it was like an awakening, literally. And I was like, that was it. That was it. So that was 6 years ago for me. So I have not had a drop in 6 years, and it's been amazing.
So
It's
are
been
you
amazing.
yeah, okay, I want to talk a bit about that. But you're
Yeah.
not asking, are you asking people to actually quit drinking altogether or just go down whatever they want to do? You're not asking anything. What
Right.
really, okay. What are you hoping that people will walk
It's for
away?
women. I work with women who are ready, right? You're ready. You're literally tired of using it. The relationship has run its course, and you're tired of it. You want to boot it to the curb. And so women that I work with have literally haven't drank in months, but then they realize, oh, I got some healing to do. Now I
Mm,
want to step into the highest version of myself. I'm ready, right? Because alcohol just keeps you on pause, right? And every time you're drinking, your life goes on pause. your growth, your evolution, healing. Nothing happens when you drink, right? And so if you're in your 40s now and you're still having that relationship, right? It's just run its course. It's over. It's time to divorce it and really step into your truth, step into the depths of your soul and do the healing that you've been putting off. That's really the meat of what I do with women, right?
Now, this
Yeah.
is going to sound like such a superficial question, but what do you do then when you go out for a drink with the ladies?
You have a mocktail or water or
Right.
whatever the heck,
So
right?
other drinks, like other things that
Oh
are
my
on the
God,
menu?
there's
Right, right.
something other than alcohol to drink. Who knew?
Uh, yeah, well,
Yeah,
that's something.
in bigger cities, there are literally sober, like London, Vancouver, Toronto, stuff like, San Francisco. Um, there are sober clubs that you can go to. There
Right.
are bars now that are having like total sober mocktail evenings completely, where it will just be a total sober. Like it's a wellness trend, and it has been for the last few years. People literally just choosing not to drink just for shits and giggles to see who am I without it? What does it
Right.
actually feel like? What's going on in here that I keep, muffling? Yeah, I want to reach
Oh,
your consciousness, right?
I'm such a gray area drinker.
I know you are.
I just, it's so funny because I just had a colonic today. I don't know, TMI. But as I'm chatting with the girl who I'm going to have on the show, because she's amazing, I was telling her that, like, when I don't drink, I feel this, like, aliveness and vibrancy in my body. And I'm already a very
Yeah,
high energy, positive person. And it just gets to be like, woo, wow, look at this. Like, this is exciting. Like, it's energy I can contain. Absolutely. I mean, I have been drinking many times, and when I was doing my Kundalini training, I didn't drink. So
yeah,
anyway, I know that feeling is there. But what happens on a regular basis is I'll start to feel it, and then I'll be like, oh, do I really want to, like, not deal with this? But it's like uncomfortable for me to stay in that zone, and it's more habitual, I think, for me to numb it.
yeah. It's a feeling of expansion, and it's like whoa. It's almost like not that I surf, but I imagine or like riding a bike downhill. But it's like you're stepping on a surfboard or you're going downhill on a bike, and it's like it actually becomes exhilarating because the poison is no longer in your system, and you
Right.
become this like fully open channel
I
for
agree.
like the divine to start flowing. And at first it is a little bit like whoa, I'm fully alive, I'm fully feeling, I'm fully present, I'm fully everything, which is amazing, right? And then you also have moments like, oh, but now what do I do with the stress or shame, the other side, right? Stress or shame or judgment, comparison, all that kind of yucky stuff that can also come up, past traumas that you've been numbing out, right?
Mm,
Any sort of,
right.
you know, so then all those little things bubble up too. So it's just initially, right? It's like the first year. It's like your brand, God, reborn just sounds so religious, but it is a feeling of like, holy shit, like
Yeah,
this
like
is
newness.
really me.
Uh-huh. I get that. Does anybody know either of these feelings? Just curious. I don't know if you feel comfortable commenting and just saying, yeah, no, I definitely can relate to either side. Um, it's just a very interesting topic for me because you're right. It is sort of like not trending out, but almost like cigarettes. Like that was what you did, right? And we did it everywhere. And now it's like, God, if you're caught smoking, or even when I smell a smoker,
Yeah,
I think, shit, I used to smell like that. Like that's
yeah.
so gross. But anyway, it's just like our consciousness, like up leveling and
And
doing.
it's happening, right? It's happening on the planet. Like the younger millennial generation of the 20 somethings, they're not drinking near as much.
Mm,
And it's a lot of them that are literally like opting because they want real experience, authentic experience, which doesn't happen when you're under the influence. It just doesn't.
right. Well, A, you can't really remember what happened. And B, you
Right.
feel a little bit invincible in regards to what your body is
Yeah.
capable of. And oh, there was many times, and too, that you just don't even know how you got home or what,
Well,
how anything
yes.
happened.
Yeah.
Like,
But you know who I'm really, the
that's
women
not what
who
we're
really,
talking about here.
yeah. No, the women who I have a feeling that are watching this, they're, like you said, they're entrepreneurial. They want more out
Yeah.
of their life. Like they want they want more, right? And alcohol is only depressing you. It's making you feel tired. It's probably adding 10, 20 pounds to your waistline. It is a depressant,
Yeah.
spoiler alert, right? It's a poison. So it's really not helping.
Which is interesting. I was just going to bring up this quick comment about writers because, like Hemingway, I mean, God, he drank himself to death.
Mm.
Sometimes we feel like we can tap into a bigger or a different realm when we've got a little bit of a buzz going on or a playful side to us. Like I know for me, I can feel really in the moment when I have a drink. Sometimes I can get this light feeling, it's just like, woo, it's a party, like.
Right.
But then it's
So,
kind of sloppy at the same time because you're not really aware, all there,
yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, you can't compare yourself to men. But I know what you're talking about. Throughout history, there's been a lot of artists who
Right.
were also
Yeah.
addicts, right?
Yeah.
It's a creative, it's an imbalance in the sacral chakra on a
Right.
that kind of level. But no, that initial stage of when it first kicks in and you get the little buzz and it's like, oh yeah, and all your inhibitions drop away.
Yeah. Okay.
For that little half an hour in this little sweet spot, I know what you're talking about. And, that's technically the first stage of alcohol poisoning, just so you know. Yeah.
You feel so good.
No, it's poisoning. It's like messing with your nervous system, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it gives you that little bit of liquid courage and a little bit of freedom, but it's so temporary because then, the next day, if you have two or three, you're like in the toilet, right? Like, let's be honest.
And in the morning, I don't feel as awesome as I do when I don't drink the night before. So I've been playing a lot around. I know what it's like, but it's like you get into a habit and then and it's summer. I mean, you have every excuse in the book, right?
Yeah.
But even like 2 drinks and then you go to bed and then you're just not as alert or as like alive in the morning as I am when I do not drink at all and I have a lot of water and tea and that type of stuff. So yeah, I love this topic. To be honest, I'm really fascinated with it, just around our own, humanness and what am I trying to say here? I've lost my train of thought. But thank you so much, Sam. I was just going to say for sharing. I really appreciate that. Now, it'll come back to me, but I'm just going to throw it over to the course. So you have an 8-week program that women can take. We get some coaching help and different sort of things. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's growth and evolution, right? It's healing.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're going to shed some tears for sure because if you've been using alcohol as a coping mechanism or strategy for any sort of area of your life, it's just not real, right? It's really not, and if you want more, you want to feel more, you want to evolve, you want to expand with your business or anything like that, you have to reach another level of your being, right? And so there has to be healing. So we have to go through the shame and the pain, and you got to look at those areas that you haven't wanted to look at. Like, why are you really drinking still at whatever level, right? I mean, if you're just a 1 or 2 drink person on the weekend, like you're fine, right? It's the 5 days a week, and you know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking
So
about.
there's growth there, there's evolution, and it's about getting back deeply in tune to better self-care rituals, right? Like what actually would nourish you and fill you up from the inside rather than a glass of to numb out, right? You want to be filling yourself with stuff that actually continues to make you feel better and grow and expand. So yeah, we touch on, it's kind of roughly, the 8 weeks is loosely around the chakras. Like we kind of dive in energetically to what's going on there, the heart, opening yourself up, expression, we tap into all of it. And because at each level, you
Lost you here for a sec.
you've got blocks. Yeah, sorry, I had a call come through. You've got blocks at each level. And when we have been numbing and using alcohol or anything else to numb out, we're stagnant in those areas. And so you got to clear that shit out and heal it and transform it and like release it. And so that you can continue to like blossom and bloom into your best life.
Absolutely.
If you're interested in it, right? Evolution isn't for everyone. Like some people are very happy in their little bubble, and anything else really scares the shit out of them. So
Yeah, but I don't think we're talking to those people. I think
I
that
don't think so either.
have an affinity for me and like the kind of content I'm into providing. It is about
Yeah.
up leveling and
Like,
evolving our
who
consciousness.
would you be
Mm-hmm.
if you didn't drink for 6 months? Like, what could come through you and then come out of you and produce like who would that person be? Like, what?
You got to
Right?
give it a
And
go.
you'll
You got to
never
give
know
it a
unless
go.
you do it.
Yeah, no, it's so true. When I went on my spiritual quest, the first one in Ireland for the 9 months, I quit drinking for 7 of those 9 months. And
Wow.
but it's interesting because I knew who I evolved into and all the amazing things that came my way after that. But now
Mm.
this is like 10 years later. And if I was to do another, I did a 5 month run, I think somewhere in
Mhm.
there. And then
Good
if
for
I,
you. Good
oh
for
yeah,
you.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I've done this. I could do this. Yeah, I could do this. 6 months though, that's something. I want to commit. I want to know if there's anyone else out there that wants to do a commitment. And something I wanted to talk about is we wanted to give away a free clarity call from Meiyan worth $200 for someone who just says yes, please. The first person to say yes, please, that's yours. And then she's also offering some money off the 8-week course. But what I'm going to do to if there is a group of us that want to do this, I'm going to give away my Light Up group coaching program with yours. So mine will be included. Worth
Whoa.
$200, yeah. And then I'm going to be in this with everybody doing it for the 8 weeks. Even if we could go 8 weeks without drinking, would be a fair awesomeness, and then see where it goes from there. What do you think?
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Where to
Sounds like
go?
a challenge.
Goodness. Well, yeah, I guess it is a challenge. It doesn't have to be challenging, though. It can be
No, it's
something
about
that's
curiosity,
enjoyable.
right? And that's the hashtag that a lot of us use that are kind of in this is sober curious. Are you just curious about being sober? And it doesn't have to be forever,
Sober,
right?
curious.
But like
Yeah.
break up, have a separation, see who you are without, right? That's the thing.
Sober, curious. Hash.
Oh,
Love it. Okay. So I'm going to let you go because we're at
okay.
our time. It was so lovely chatting with you. I love everything about what you're doing. And you and I are actually planning a retreat next year together for all of you that didn't know that, but this is happening. We're kind of tag teaming a retreat together. And what else? Oh, I don't know. There's going to be a lot more Meiyan. So you'll see her around my page. Okay. And in regards, we're trying to fit in a bit of like business coaching in here, but I was just going to say, in regards to your talk, what you got to do is go and find one that you can go and do. Then that's the one that you write, right? You don't need to write it ahead of time. You got to go get it. And then you write it, you do it. And then now that's your talk. That's like your signature talk or whatever. So I'm going to help you find that. Let's find that puppy. Even if it's like a group of 5 women or 6, you know what I mean? It's just like, see, this doesn't work to coach in these. Sorry.
I do have a talk booked in September up in Duncan, actually.
Okay.
To a bunch of healers. So
great. Yeah. Healers, here you go. Yes, please. Okay, so we're waiting for a yes, please. I will send you a Meiyan's gift card, and I will follow up with our links to our programs below this. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here. And yeah, what would it be like to be hashtag sober curious?
And sober is sexy.
Sober is sexy. Damn right it is. And I can lose weight like that.